What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Main Stand, Season 2, Episode 36. Had a little break. We had Pat across the pond doing some live coverage of some matches. He's back. Josh is back. He's got a new whip. I'm without one because I hit a deer when I dropped Pat off to the fucking airport. But we're buzzing. We got a lot to talk about, a lot to catch up on. Boys, how we doing?
Never better. I'm in a great mood today, man. We'll get into it later in the episode, but we're recording this like 3 hours after the City Real Madrid game.
Yeah.
It was a good day for you.
Anytime you go through to a final like that, I feel like it's a big day, memorable one for any fan. Pat's had two in 3 years now. Yeah,
Yeah, dude, we were 2 minutes away from three in a row.
I know. Finally broke it against Real Madrid, which is a nice feeling, and we'll definitely tuck into that. But first, I think we both want to hear a little bit more about your trip, your time in London. See if you pick up any slang.
Nah, I sounded like a tourist pretty much the whole time I was there, but it was sick, man. It was really cool. London's a great city. I liked Manchester a little bit more, but there might be some bias in that one. But it was awesome, man. It was really cool. London is expensive. It's tall Boston, and I won't be answering any more questions about that. It's just tall Boston. Um, I'm really bad at being a tourist. I didn't learn that. I tried to do like the tourist thing, and like I couldn't get myself to get on the like open top bus. Ooh, sorry. Um, I just like did football related stuff and explored the city while I was there. I the 2 days after the city game, I just like impromptu bought tickets to Fulham Leicester. So that was unreal. The cottage is a great place, but it just doesn't compare to the Etihad, man. That was an unreal experience being able to step inside there, watch a match, see a win, uh, witness that Gundogan masterclass against Leeds live in person was crazy. You don't really appreciate some of the stuff that they're doing
Yeah.
on a day-to-day basis, like, and then you see it in person, and it kind of all comes together to be able to like you don't see it on TV all the time, but be able to just like look to the left and see Pep just like constantly, walking back and forth in his box, just like shouting orders. Gundogan just picking a defense apart, constantly like scanning over his shoulders all the time. The little nuances that like you don't see pieces on TV, but you see in person, and then like being in the stadium, being there, like to be a part of the chants. Like I got to sing Blue Moon before kickoff. Like I got to do the Come On City. I did Oh Kevin De Bruyne. I got to serenade John Stones as he was warming up to come on. I got to sing to Bernardo as he was warming up to come on. It was fucking unreal, man. And to be in there and be a part of that was just so it was so fucking cool. And I can't wait to go back. And before anyone asks, the Etihad has an atmosphere. I can confirm I was in the stadium. It has an atmosphere.
You got to go to classic football shirts too.
I did, yeah. I got the Burnley shirt. The only time I think they're ever going to sponsor a team, from the sounds of things, they won't be returning on the Burnley
Yeah.
kit when they get promoted to the Prem. Um, I got a David Villa retro kit. I got this beautiful 89-91 retro City shirt from the City store. And I've got a couple of pieces of reading from the Manchester store because I almost
Yep.
spent 130 extra pounds on a mid condition 1999 2000 City away shirt, but I talked myself out of it because that's a lot of money.
Shout out Burnley and JJ Watt, newly announced owner or
Mm.
minority owner of Burnley. Pretty cool.
I mean, more
Wasn't it
importantly, shout out Vincent Company.
wasn't it like a
Sure.
2 week turnaround from him like investing in the club and then he's on top of the
Oh
the
yeah,
parade?
yeah, front runner, uh, taking up space in the parade there. But we're glad you had a good time over across the pond, Pat. I mean, it's something you have to do on your football bucket list as a football fan.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Pat got to do it and got to see a couple games and the coronation in it. No
I was on
attention
the
to the
train.
coronation.
I was on the train. That was my
Getting
travel day.
serenaded by Leicester fans.
I had to get the in it in there at least
Uh,
once.
had more important things to do, bruv.
What was your favorite beer over there that you had?
I really liked Madrid,
Yeah, it's
the
a
the
fire one.
Spanish lager you can get at a lot of bars over there. That was a good ass beer.
Yeah, it's fun.
And then I had a
We gotta
gold.
get Mitch over to London town now.
Mm,
Yeah, I know. I know. Bass is a big wrestling fan, and allegedly AEW is doing a show at Wembley next year.
That'd be
So
wild.
he's trying to do like a big wrestling footy tour. So we might be getting across the pond next year. I'm gonna be saving up some money. I need to make it to Anfield. How many new seats? Like 5,000 new seats
Yeah,
getting
I think it
put in?
brings us up to 60 something,
I think 62, if I'm not
something
mistaken.
like that.
62, 65. More room for me.
Yeah, and it's in the Annie Road end too, which I think is
Yep.
easier to get tickets. So, with that, we'll move on. For now, are we gonna talk about? We talked about the order of operation before the show, and it's already gone one ear in one ear and out the other.
I got some big news for you, Josh.
Go ahead.
Big Flow.
Yeah, my guy. What a lad. Your audio cut out, guys.
Mic check 1 2 1 2.
You're good now.
Um, and so I guess my biggest excitement for this is seeing how like blanket everyone is excited for Flo declaring to play for the U.S. Just seeing so many soccer fans come out of the woodwork celebrating a big player like this, determining, his U.S. Uh, playing days are in front of him it's very very cool leading up to the 2026 World Cup, in my opinion.
no,
We need a striker.
I agree. I could not be happier that we have like real, like debatably top class, excuse me, talent in the number 9 position for the U.S. And like Mitch said, everyone feels excited about Balogun coming. I'm excited. Josh is excited. Mitch is excited. We've been talking about Balogun maybe coming for so long, and it's finally happened, and we're all over the moon. I think it doesn't make us like World Cup contenders because there's still a lot of areas of the team that we are just aren't up to snuff with some European teams. But I think we could give some people a run for their money come 2026, when a lot of people are kind of hitting their primes, hitting their good years. We have the fans behind us, all the guys in the states, just really propelling us forward. And my last note on Florin Balogun is why did Alexi Lawless have to go and be a hater on the internet about it?
Yeah, he
I,
sucks. He
he
Had
sucks.
to
just had
had to go and say that, oh well, Balogun's never done anything for the U.S., so he could be a flop. Yeah, no fucking shit, dude.
he has never done anything for the U.S., but he was outscoring Mbappe this year at one point.
That's true.
I don't, as a young player, like it's so exciting to see somebody who's producing in Ligue 1, who is a weekly pillar in Ligue 1, to declare that they want to come play for the U.S. in a much needed role. We need a proven goal scorer, and I think he is choosing to come to the U.S. at the right time. I think the team needs something to really lean into, and I think just what we saw in the recent World Cup out of our midfield, I think it's going to be a great asset for players like McKennie and Adams, playing balls up through to somebody who has a nose for the goals. So I'm excited. I'm really really excited to see what the next 3 years entail leading up to this World Cup. And we're gonna get a debut against Mexico, which is gonna be so sick.
Yeah. He's going to score maybe 1,000,000 goals in a USA shirt, I think. I'm overly excited, I would say. My expectations are probably a little bit too high, but I think he's just going to be a baller for the U.S. 19 goals this year already for Reams. The one thing, and you guys kind of mentioned it with Alexi Lawless, one thing I want to look forward to in 2026 is fucking better U.S. soccer coverage, because we have the worst, I think, commentators on the sport, especially for the national team. Anyone on Fox Sports, any of those guys who cover the U.S. men's national team on a regular basis, on all of them, more than Alexi. Taylor Twellman, I think, sometimes is a little bit annoying. We just need better people covering the sport.
Petition for Seabass to cover the World Cup 2026.
I'm saying, get him in there, get me in there, get the main stand on coverage.
Yeah,
we'll get excited.
Anyway, Pat, we're gonna turn it over to you. It was a European night here, and it's your night, so I know you have a lot to talk about. I'll just give you an open floor here.
All right. Well, let me just start by saying, Man City are going to their second Champions League final in 3 years, and I am fucking stoked. Man, it feels like it really could be the year. This tie against Real Madrid was just like everything. It was everything. The fight back in the first leg to bring it to the Etihad at 1-1 and a draw, and then that fucking performance at home. The fans were rocking. You could hear it on the TV. The Etihad was a cauldron of noise for 90 minutes, and to go out and blitz the kings of Europe, the team in the Champions League, and just dominate them at home. I'm not talking like a 1-0 win. Like, yeah, they were good, but Madrid had their chances. No, Madrid came to the Etihad and they got outclassed. City did not put a foot wrong for 90 minutes. It didn't even matter that Haaland missed a bunch of chances because Bernardo Silva turned into fucking Lionel Messi when Real Madrid rocked up to the Etihad. I just this Man City team that we're watching right now, they feel so fucking special, and they're 3 games away from cementing themselves in history as one of, if not the greatest team to ever come out of the Premier League. And you know, you can, Mitch is going to touch on it, so I'm going to, you can say what you want about Madrid being poor, because they were. They played really conservative at home, and they were playing damage control at the Etihad, and it felt like they were just hoping that we did what we did last year and lost to ourselves. But this City team is just unbelievable, man, and there's just so many guys in the team that I'm so happy played as well as they did. Vinicius Jr. didn't have a sniff all night because of Kyle Walker. Ruben Diaz has just been a transformative piece in this Man City team since he came in. Since we signed Diaz, we've been to 2 Champions League finals and a semifinal in the 3 years that he's been at the club. Ilkay Gundogan, it would be unbelievably fitting to have Pep's first signing in his last year lift a trophy for us in Istanbul, in Turkey, where he's originally from. It would be fairy tale to send Gundogan off like that. Bernardo, stay forever. Haaland did his job. He didn't score, but he was dangerous all night. Kevin De Bruyne is the best player in the fucking world. I know Haaland is going to get all the plaudits because of all the goals he scored this year, and he's probably going to win the Ballon d'Or if we go on to win all these trophies. But De Bruyne is a great man. De Bruyne is an all-time great, and if this season goes the way it feels like it should go, in the way that I know that this team that we're watching can play, put him up with the Xavis and the Iniestas and the Zidans, because he deserves to be there, and he just needs big years, and he's in the conversation. I don't care what anybody says. You watch him play, you see what he's done in the league. All he needs is big years, and he's right there in the conversation. So I'm really happy as a City fan to be able to say that I'm witnessing history. And when Pep leaves, it's going to be fucking rough, but I'm riding it out right now, man. Tonight was fucking unbelievable. I think that was probably the biggest result in the club's history.
Forgive me if you didn't say it, Pat, but how good was Jack Grealish tonight?
Unreal. He was unreal. Carvajal was fucking on his heels all night. Jack Grealish had the most completed take-ons, the most chances created, the most fouls won, and the most individual duels won of any player on the pitch through the full 90. Jack Grealish also tonight set another Champions League record, most chances created in Champions League history for an Englishman ever. in the course of a campaign. He's created 35 big chances or 35 chances, most of an Englishman ever. So
Yeah, I
give
think the
Jack Grealish
praise has to be as loud as the disrespect was last year for Grealish. I think you have to praise him huge amounts for his versatility in playing off the left, because I think all of us kind of agree that, like, in a lot of moments he can be better as like an 8 in the center. How well he's adapted to playing on the left under Guardiola's system, and how well he's played, especially the back half of this year. He's been unplayable, direct, creating chances. He had Carvajal on a string all night, so that's why I wanted to touch on it real quick with you.
Yeah, no,
I agree.
I will say tonight is proving that he was worth every cent of that 100 million. I think it took a little while for him to get his footing in the Guardiola system, but when a team like Real Madrid's game plan is literally kill Jack Grealish for 2 legs of a Champions League semifinal, it opens up play so much for the key pieces, for somebody like Bernardo to step in and score those goals, for De Bruyne to look dangerous and draw the attention away and open up other areas of the pitch. I will give credit where it's due. Jack Grealish was immense in this 2-leg final, getting in the heads of that Real Madrid defense.
For sure. Was there anything else you wanted to touch on with the Man City team, Pat?
I have one thing. I
Go
have
for
one
it.
thing to say. I want to read off a stat line for a player that I think I praise every time we talk about a good City performance, because he's in a class of his own. Rodri's game by the numbers versus Real Madrid: 100% tackle succession, 100% take-ons, most possession won, most touches of any outfield player, most completed passes of any outfield player, 7 duels won, 2 aerial duels won, 2 chances created, and he was not dribbled past once in 90 minutes.
Against
The
Real
best
Madrid.
defensive midfielder in the fucking world. There is not a player better than Rodri at what he does. And I'm going to say it every time we talk about him, every time something good happens, because every good City result coincides with a brilliant Rodri performance, because he is unfucking real. I'm done.
I don't think we can say anything from our end. I do think the praise for Man City has to be high. You're approaching a treble, I guess you could say, like me and Mitch were last year, kind of the end of the season. May is where it matters, so you have a few big games left, but you're well on your way. The only play devil's advocate, the one thing I want to poke fun at tonight is the fucking pyrotechnics show you put on before the
That
game.
was funny. Yeah, the pre-match, they called it on Twitter the surprise pyrotechnics.
That was that did make me laugh. I saw some Twitter things I didn't put in the group chat. But aside from that, I think you just gotta. What are you gonna do with Man City? I mean, they are what they are.
I will say from the point of view of Real Madrid and how often we give them they're a Champions League aura on this podcast and have for 2 years. It was shocking at best to see that team play the way they did for 2 legs. The midfield was abysmal. They were just playing through Vinicius. Benzema was nowhere to be seen. Courtois was essentially the only player on the pitch I would say deserves any lick of credit for keeping them where they were leading into the second leg of this fixture. But tonight especially, seeing veterans like Luka Modric and Toni Kroos fumble the bag, loose passing all around, it looked like there was no direction, and they lost their heads within 10 minutes. I was shocked to see Real Madrid, a team that is a perennial favorite in the Champions League, lay down like they did. It was absolutely embarrassing, and I hope Madrid fans are as pissed off as I would be as a Liverpool fan getting dicked down by a team like that almost yearly.
Yeah, and it looks like Carlo's out the door as well, so it'll be interesting to see how Real Madrid pivots. They sure as hell have a good roster still, young one. They're kind of integrating that new midfield. If they get Jude Bellingham, this could be a whole different Madrid team next year, so we'll see. Let's touch on the final real quick, though, Pat. You're going to play Inter Milan in Istanbul. I would say this is a tricky game. Kind of shades that Liverpool-Milan final where one team has pretty much every player that's the best in the world, and on the other side you have a team that probably hasn't been as good as they wanted to in the league, but still dangerous. Some attacking options. 3 guys with double-digit goal numbers: Lukaku, Dzeko, and Martinez. They have some good midfielders too. Some guys with experience: Calhanoglu, Mkhitaryan as well. It'll be an interesting final, I think. I'm not saying Inter Milan have a big chance, but I don't know. They have some options.
No, I think it's going to be an interesting tie. I think the 5-3-2 that they play is going to be tricky. Edin Dzeko be still my beating heart, my Bosnian prince. I love him more than life. I don't like having to play him in a European final. No, they're a good side. I think it's going to be a good game. I think ultimately City are going to win the Champions League this year. I think this is the year they do it. The stars feel like they're aligning for City to win the Champions League. And the last time I came on this podcast and I was really confident about City doing well in the league, they shipped 2 goals to Real Madrid in a minute and a half, and I was really sad on the episode prior or the episode following that. So maybe it'll happen again. Maybe the egg video will come true and we lose to Inter in the final. I don't know if you guys have seen that thing going around Twitter with the eggs, but they predicted City Inter in the final and Inter beat us. So we'll see. The stars feel like it's time for us to come and lift big years. It just feels like it's gonna happen this year. The last thing I am going to say, this has nothing to do with the game, but Josh, I think you pronounce Calhanoglu's name different every single time we talk about it on the podcast.
Calhanoglu, Calhanoglu, different every time, yeah.
I think you've called him Chonglu at one point. Like, he's got a different last name every time we talk about him.
Well, yeah, and then at this point, I just forget what the actual correct thing is, so I have to say a different thing every time.
And I just have a quick point. Like, I just think it's tough to say anything else. Like, after looking at the other side of the fixtures on the semifinals, that was a very, very, very boring 2-leg fixture, and it was a lot of sloppy football. Obviously, AC Milan is no Manchester City. I think it's going to be a difficult challenge for Inter beyond that semifinal that they just played. I think they're going to need to buckle down and play some world-class football, but they obviously wouldn't make it to the final if they weren't meant to be there. So I'm excited. I'm sure Pat's clamoring over there, ready to get the fixture underway, but we have to wait a week or two for you.
It feels
like 3 weeks away.
Yeah. It feels a little bit like us in Tottenham too. We kind of went into that final thinking, how do we lose this? Whereas instead of Real Madrid, or I guess even when you went in playing Chelsea, it's a little bit like more 50-50. With that being said, we can we'll cut into the league now, guys. It's been a while since we did an episode, so I mean, there's a lot that has changed. I guess we'll start off. We'll switch it up and talk about Liverpool for a second. Pat, you can cover the league and the title race with Arsenal, and maybe we'll touch on the relegation scrap as well. Liverpool, Mitch. I mean, we've won 7 on the bounce. I think at any point in this season, this has been the happiest we've been.
Absolutely.
It's been great football to watch. Not necessarily the biggest score lines. This one here, this past a couple days ago against Leicester at the King Power was a fun one. But it's just nice to see the boys playing well again. Jurgen's kind of flexible tactics have worked. The big thing, and I'll let you kind of cover the tactics and who you've liked in recent weeks, Mitch. Big thing I want to say is this weekend. What a weekend it's going to be for us. I don't think me and Mitch are going to have a dry eye on Saturday. Just Bobby Firmino saying goodbye, and James Milner, 2 servants of the club. Bobby Firmino is my favorite player, so it does kind of suck to know that he's going. Just how much I don't know if there's going to be another player in Europe right now that's more loved by the fans than Bobby Firmino is by Liverpool fans. It's been a wonderful 8 years under Jurgen Klopp with him.
I mean, you can tell how important he is to the club with, what was it, like 7 straight minutes of
I think it was 16. it was a while.
I guess if you take into account the stoppage in play it went through Trent's
Yep.
corner, or sorry, free
The
kick.
goal.
Um, it's going to be a tough goodbye for sure. This hurts more than I think anybody leaving the club since Gerrard. Like this is a big moment in Liverpool's history, having a player like that leave. One of Gerrard's last kind of parting gifts, if you will.
Hmm.
Not Gerrard, Rogers. Sorry.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, uh, sorry, I'm fucking all mixed up. It's Bobby. It's tough. It's really tough. But I will say, back to the Leicester game, I have been so happy with what I'm seeing out of this club. It is night and day from what we were getting pre-World Cup and even just after. I think we've had the um, injuries clear up right at the right time, gives us enough time to play in this system. And Trent has been unfucking believable. Being able to get expansive and push the midfield. And Curtis Jones, what a
Yeah.
player. Um,
Tremendous.
has been immense, and it is playing so well into his play style. And for a player who in November we thought was on the way out, wasn't really finding his footing, had a what was it, the eye
The
injury.
eye.
So it's a breath of fresh air because it feels like the boys are excited to be playing again. They've found the linkage is in play again, and it's just fun to watch.
Pat, what do you think about that? Because a few weeks ago on the pod, we were talking about playing Trent in midfield, and you had kind of shown some skepticism. Maybe that wasn't what Liverpool needed. Have you been impressed the past few weeks watching him kind of in this more central role?
Yeah, I definitely have. I think my skepticism with Trent playing in the midfield wasn't that he couldn't do it. It was putting him in there as like an out and out midfielder with
Yep.
no
Yep.
support around him or change to the current system. Playing him as more of like an inverted fullback in possession has been really good. I've been really impressed with him playing there, and he has all of the tools to do something like that. And I think it's a testament to his ability as a footballer. Jurgen's admitted uh, opposite word
Stubbornness.
of flexibility,
Stubbornness.
um, reluctance to change his system and finally try him there. And now it's kind of starting to reap Klopp is starting to reap the rewards of being a little bit more tactically flexible and trying new things, and the system he's implementing is working really well. And
Yep.
I actually think you guys probably sneak in the top four this year unless you stop winning games, but it feels like you could win out and
Yeah,
you
I
can
think
really
I
put
think
the
we can
pressure on
win
the
out.
guys.
We have Villa and Southampton. Southampton's away. It all depends on Newcastle and Man United at this point. So one of them has to drop points in their next two games for us to get in. But we'll see.
It feels possible. I mean, Newcastle still have to play Brighton, who also could sneak into Europe. They have like 5 games in hand. Just on a side note.
Yeah, they're definitely close. And what a job by Brighton too this year. But yeah, Liverpool's been great to watch, man. Trent's been unreal, like Mitch said. Kurt Jones and Mo Salah too. I know Salah's kind of had his critics the past couple years about being inconsistent and whatever, but another 30-goal season. The other night, I mean, he missed a sitter, but just walks away from that game with 3 assists like nothing. What a player. And I think at the end of the day, in the middle of the season, all we wanted from this team was a little bit of fight, a little bit of pride to wear the badge, and they've definitely shown that over the past couple months.
Absolutely.
Pat, why don't you talk about? I mean, we've talked about City kind of enough, but you must be feeling really confident. You have 3 games left, a game in hand on Arsenal, and a 4-point lead. Everything's going right for you at the moment.
Yeah, a win this weekend seals
Wraps
it.
it up.
Yeah, a win at home against Chelsea wins us the Premier League title. So I'm as confident as you can be. You need 3 points from your last 3 games, and you're Premier League champions. City are 11-game win streak in the league now. 3 more matches what we had to do against you guys in 2019 to win the league. So it feels likely. I think Brighton kind of did us a favor in beating Arsenal at the weekend, which was it was a shock result, but it wasn't. Arsenal have really struggled against Brighton in the past couple of years. I actually don't think Arsenal have beaten Brighton in the league in their last like 4 attempts, if I'm not mistaken. Um, so always a team that was going to give Arsenal a little bit of trouble just from like the mental standpoint, but also they played a really good game against Arsenal. But City just look imperious, man. We rotated against Everton, and it didn't really look like there were any issues at all. Title race Gundogan is different gravy, man. That goal he scored against Everton, that first one,
That
the
was
little
insane.
when he took it down off his thigh, the little flick, like that's a goal of the year contender. All things considered, the just the technical ability you need to have to score a goal like that, and then a great free kick too, and Holland just moving the record up one more goal, scoring his 36 on the year with 3 games left to play. I feel good. I feel like we have a hand in the Premier League trophy already. It just need 3 points from our last 3 games, and the title's ours.
Yep. Arsenal fans must be feeling in the dumps too. I mean, the Brighton one, like you said, Pat. Brighton have been great. I don't think it's like the biggest shock result, but to get beat 3-0 maybe at home, it's just been a capitulation at the end of the season for Arsenal, kind of all over. I think the loss directly to Man City was a big one, and also that, I don't know, me and Mitch, I think, are always going to look back to that Xhaka moment with Trent as like the turning point for this Arsenal team, where it felt like after that they were going to lose. We walked away from when they played Liverpool. I knew that Man City were going to win, and it looks like they're going to do so pretty comfortably now with 2 games left in the season, as long as they win this weekend.
Yeah, I'd like to see them win it this weekend. I feel confident that they will, but anything can happen in football. But after that win against Chelsea, it wouldn't surprise me if we just come out or win against Madrid today. Excuse me. It just wouldn't surprise me if we just come out and batter them and shore the league up.
Sure. And just a quick look at the relegation race, guys. Southampton officially relegated already.
Mm-hmm.
Leicester's on 30, Leeds on 31, Everton at 32, and Forest at 34. Forest have been, man, they've gotten some big results. A draw against Chelsea in that win a couple weekends ago. I'm blanking on who that was against. The other Leeds, I believe. Everton, I think, looked pretty safe to me. I think the table might just stay as is, and Leicester and Leeds might go down.
I really don't want Leeds to go to Leicester. Feel like
Leicester's out
gone.
of it, man.
They're awful.
Leicester still have to play Liverpool and Newcastle, and as well as West Ham.
Leeds are fucked. Leeds are fucked. They have West Ham away.
No, that's less. Oh yeah, that.
I'm talking about Leeds.
Yeah, we just played Leicester.
So yeah, we just played them, but we have to play them again.
Do we? We play Villa and Southampton to end the year.
What am I looking
Leicester, at? Leicester have to go to Newcastle. They're getting piped, and then they host.
Oh, that's a preseason. That's a preseason.
No
My bad.
You're good.
I hate how Google does that when you're like looking through the table.
Yeah.
Like, let's throw a random July 30th game on there.
I've gotten a couple of them.
I just got. Yeah, so
Newcastle Premier League app when we're talking fixtures, Mitchell. Come on, that's a rookie mistake.
Yeah, Leicester's looked bad. Leicester looks really, really bad. I mean, they just gave up against Liverpool like halfway through that game. They're going to be fun though to pillage in the summer. I tell you what, James Maddison. I think that might be the list.
I would rather take James Maddison than fucking Mason Mount.
They have a lot of good players. Madison, they have Ndidi.
Samare, he's not bad.
Samare, Yori Tillmans. Pratt probably could go to like a mid-table team.
Soyunchu's going to Atletico, I think I saw.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Leeds would be fun too.
Come on. My boy Kalechi.
Leeds, I saw a thing today. Weston McKennie might be going to Brighton. That'd be interesting.
Good. Keep him in the Prem. He needs to stay there. Get Tyler Adams to Newcastle too. I'm speaking into existence now.
Newcastle.
I want Tyler Adams doing the dirty work for Bruno next season at St. James Park. I need it.
It is fun. I think we're already kind of looking forward to next year a little bit. I know I am. Just like with Liverpool ending the year well, Arsenal kind of choking. I think we're all kind of wondering, is the future of the Premier League, like, is Newcastle and Arsenal, are they like forever members the next few years? Is Liverpool going to make it back? How do we compete with Man City? It's already fun to kind of look forward because for me, Mitch, the season's been done for a while. So
I am firmly grounded in this season right now.
Pat's thinking about the current. Well, it's a scary time though for Pat too because he doesn't have his hands on any silverware right now, and that's a little bit daunting, I would say.
Just a year removed from us from the treble hopes.
Hate to break it to you, we're not chasing anyone. We're not.
Oh, fuck.
It would be this City team. No offense, but this City team isn't those teams they've been chasing. Like we're gonna win at least 2 trophies this year. I feel it in my bones. We're winning a double.
Ideal world,
least.
what 2?
Oh, the Prem and the Champ. It has to be the
Prem and the Champion.
I think the FA Cup is being refereed VAR.
Low key. I've seen this discourse on Twitter about would you lose the Champions? It was Real Madrid, admittedly. Now it's a very different ball game. But would you lose to Real Madrid in the Champions League if it meant you guarantee beat United in the FA Cup final? I'd really like to beat United in the FA Cup final, like a lot. I almost care about that more than the Prem in like the grand scheme of things. I think we can win both, but I really want. Sorry, I brought a sickness back from the UK with me. I really want the bragging rights that come with beating United in a cup final.
I heard that known Man United fan David Coote is on VAR that day. Just so you know.
Yeah, I'm excited.
You heard it here first. Fred Masterclass coming up.
True, yeah.
Stomach screamer. He's gonna slap the badge in the corner flag of Wembley in front of the United fans like a dick.
Goldbridge on the sideline. Boys, it's been an episode. It's gonna be a fun final couple weeks here too.
Mostly for me, but
mostly for
I
Pat.
hope you guys get in the Champions League.
It could be fun for us, I guess, if we watch you lose a couple times.
It'd be very fun.
Boo. You should be rooting for your fellow podcast host in English club in the Champions League final.
I would rather no England team wins the Champions League.
I'd rather Inter be the second team since Barcelona to be a shirtless winner of the Champions League.
That would be cool.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. That is pretty neat.
Things, boo.
Sponsorless clubs for the win.
All right, guys, that was episode 36. Like, share, subscribe to the podcast. Enjoy the footy this weekend. A lot of good games. MLS games, Premier League, Bundesliga is wrapping up. Stay tuned.
Catch us at the zoo on Sunday.
Yes, sir.
Deuces.